everyone, and welcome to Cultural and Chill, a podcast, I guess we could name it, where I bring you guests from the world of arts, performance arts, music, entertainment, education, and we talk together for things that are important to us. Today I have Monse Villaroel with me, a dancer and dance teacher, and double twerk champion, Finnish twerk champion, 2016-2018. And we're just going to open up. It's going to be very casual and just like discuss about things that we always find inspiration in, basically. The previous time we had a chatting live stream on my Twitch, and it went really smoothly because I always take inspiration from you. It's really easy to just like talk to you, and yeah.
We get into a flow and we open subjects and different topics. We go from one topic to another, and then we just have those realizations and insight. Oh, whoa, this and that, and
there's a lot of like aha moments that we are getting through our discussions always, and I really enjoy that. So I know Monse from the school, Savonia, that we were going together. She has already graduated, like 5-2 graduating, and how has life treated you since then?
Well, I believe it has to do a lot with my mentality and way of how I see life. I mean, I put it pretty clear. I knew that after I graduate, work. And that's what I basically manifested, like full on. It was not, and I told everyone, and I knew myself, like immediately after I get up from school, I thought it was a goal for me to use my complete time only on working, because half time studying the day and then in the evenings doing classes. And I was kind of frustrated because I'm like, man, if I wouldn't be like, I love studying, but I knew because I'm studying, I cannot put the whole attention and energy on working. So I was very eager to,
I feel that, I understand that.
I was really eager to that day of like, I can't wait when I graduate, and then I can just put on the full energy on just the work. You know.
You were already working before you graduated.
Yes.
Was it like part-time or was it almost full-time?
No, it's part-time. And for everybody out there to know, it depends of course of the country, but I believe that in most times dance teachers work by the hour. So there's a really, really small percentage of, and I also believe that music teachers also kind of have the same thing. Yeah, but you see that mostly in dance teachers. There's a really small percentage of dance teachers that work as a full-time dance teacher, where they get monthly paid with the real payment. So with the real and the insurance and all of that,
like as part of a conservatory or as part of something like that.
And that's very rare, and that's basically why most of us do want to get our pedagogical studies, so we can we can be hired to those kind of places, and then we can have in a full-time job somewhere. It's more secure, it's more easy, somebody's doing all the work for you. You just have to be there, do the whole structure of the season, of the classes, and then you get monthly securely paid. You don't have to think about kind of like I should do this and these hours, or I should do this and then I should do a workshop, or it kind of takes your creativity away a little bit, because there's no space for improvising or finding new solutions on how to earn more money, for example, because it's so secure. So back to after graduating, I ended up now in spring working 18 hours, which was basically what I like manifested, and then realized that nope, not gonna do that ever again.
You mean like a week?
Yeah, in the week.
Okay, 18 hours a week. Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, 18 hours.
That's quite a lot.
Oh yeah, it is. It really is, to be
Yeah,
honest.
like for your job, which is so physically demanding.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, like then you have to also train by yourself and
And plan the choreographies and all of that.
Definitely.
Yeah, 18 hours, which means 18 groups, 18 different people.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's kind of different if there's one individual or something. For example, in music, you guys can have groups or you can have only one person.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We have groups. Only groups, most of it, and they're all different. And there's like, with dancing, it's such wide, the whole scale of like, there's not that one right way how to do it, but with music, you can hear when it's right and when it's not. So it's like you have the goal to bring it to the right place. But with dancing, the same structure of how to teach doesn't work with everyone.
Both of these art forms are hard to teach because everyone is unique, right? And like if you explain something to me and if you explain the same thing to person X, we might not understand it the same way in any case. And of course, like it's very different from teaching music or teaching art or something at a school where everyone is the same age, everyone is in the same classroom, they roughly know the same things, they have like the same knowledge. But when you are at the conservatory or teaching private lessons, it can be absolutely anyone, and you kind of have to be flexible on like how you teach. And it's much harder with groups because like if one or two out of the 10 are kind of like in the back and they're more shy, then you're always faced with a dilemma over there.
Or if we point out the different ways how people learn, one would be just hearing or seeing with your instincts. The other one would be verbal explanation, and the other one would be showing. So the teacher shows and in physical form to the students how it's done. And I don't know if there are other categories for it, but I think those are the main. And everybody has their own. Yeah. And sometimes in the class you have to put on the 3 categories into the class.
Yeah, of course.
They need it all, so each individual can like learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna keep doing that type of work hours. It's just too much for me. I believe that for some people they can do more, or the 18 hours is just normal. But I honestly had to try that, what it felt and meant to just go full on with work. And at the end I realized that I was not as happy, I was not enjoying as much, and I was getting frustrated because even though I have so much work, I still feel that I cannot give my full there comes the other dilemma. I cannot give my full potential to each class because there's so many classes.
True. Yeah, true. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Let's just say that, you're rested, you're good, you had a good weekend. Then Monday starts, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're like, okay, you feel good.
Yeah.
Then Thursday and Friday comes and you have the same amount of hours, let's say 4, 3. And you need to try to keep up with the energy levels that you had on Monday.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I felt like the last day, especially Friday, I kind of felt bad for my students because Friday was the day that I couldn't wait to get home because I'm already so tired. And I'm like, so it felt kind of unfair for the students that I had on Friday.
Yeah.
Because they probably didn't notice, or maybe I don't know, but I didn't give the same power and energy that I could have, that I give on Monday.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I think that, like, in my brain, it would be kind of hard for someone with a more conventional job who works a 9 to 5 or something like that, and they have like 40 hours a week, to think that you or I are doing like 18 hours, which is like less than half of that. And they might be thinking like, oh, really? Are you that tired?
Yeah.
Like, shit,
Oh,
really?
girl, I've had this discussion with a lot of people. It's so funny because I do say it out loud. Some people do understand. They're like, oh, 18. Like, especially students. Because for them, it's already so, like, crazy to go to a class of that lasts 3 hours or 2. They're already, like, done. They're so tired. So when you tell them, they have some compassion towards it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had people, when I tell them, or for example, the payment as an hour, you know, it's let's just say that it varies from 25 or 30 euros to up to 60 one class, or it can be even more, an hour. And people are like, why would you get so much for 1 hour? Because the 9 to 5 job is 11, 10 euros up to maximum 13, 14, 15 euros.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, that, I don't know, how would you open that? How would you explain why it's like that? What?
Well, I mean, this is a common issue, right? So we see that all the time on the internet, where artists or musicians do kind of like make fun in little reels or TikToks of people who want to hire them, and then they are like, "Oh, you should be grateful because I'm giving you exposure, right?"
Recognition.
Yes, and it sucks because you cannot pay the bills, you cannot pay the rent, you cannot pay food with exposure, right? You're not really doing anyone any favors. I mean, yes, you're promoting them as an artist and as a performer, but you're still not paying for their services. So if we take Monse's work, you said, okay, you teach, you also have to prepare the choreography, and which means not just like make a plan, listen to songs, like listen to material, then you probably have to like trial and error, do it yourself first. How much do you think for 1 minute of choreography, how much time does go into preparation?
It depends. Oh no, it's 1 minute is a lot actually.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I took an extreme event.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Depending on the choreography, it can take more than an hour.
Yeah.
And we're talking about me memorizing it and me going, you know, on a loop.
Yes.
With it from start to finish and blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So 1 hour for 1 minute that you will learn, not even in one class, that would be like several classes. Plus, as I said, like taking care of your own physique as well, so training at the gym or whatever, and then you probably have your own projects which you would also want to, like, am I missing something? Am I still missing something?
No, you're actually putting it so well, and I just, you know, something popped into my head now that you're starting to list all those things. Basically, artists are being paid for the work that is being done behind the curtains.
Yes, exactly.
And the work that's being done behind the curtains is different as a job that is from 9 to 5, where you're all the time being seen. You're all the time there.
Yeah, you're just doing that. You clock in, you clock out, and then you don't bring anything home. And it's like, it's that.
Yes, but even your free time has to do with your job somehow. It's so crazy. For me, you can tell what it is for you. For me, for example, listening to music is 50-50, and mostly
Same.
but mostly it's always work based. It's so crazy. Like, only times when I can enjoy myself listening to music, either it's when I'm in the gym and I can listen to something that puts me, you know, like yeah, or when I'm walking from place A to B. But I also do that when I walk from place A to B. I do actually also try to find music for my classes. So I think like after my classes, when everything's done, you know, at 9 p.m., that's when I can like, okay, let's listen something that, you know, soothes my soul and doesn't have to do nothing with work. So I think music is something that is always haunting me with work related stuff.
I understand that. Yeah. So, similar thing if I am to perform, let's say 30 minutes or up to 45 minutes, I have to meet, I have to do some research, listen to music, practice by myself, whatever songs I have, like I'm preparing, practice also with my pianist. And then we also have to like do calculations, how we're going to get to the place. You know, you're like carrying stuff with you. You might need a whole piano, or there's also just like other sort of preparations. And it's just like you need clothes, you need work clothes. Like as a singer, I cannot go with jeans. I kind of need a party dress or like an official dress.
True that.
Yeah. You also need your own like work clothes, technically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of costs that are coming like through this, and I think that the only way that you can actually open this up, especially to someone who is hiring you for a performance, is basically to like say this is what you're paying for, right? Like have a calendar, have a diary of sorts, a work diary. Like this many hours, this is what you're paying for, and that's why it's very hard for artists and performers and whatnot to actually put a price on themselves. And luckily, there are the I don't want to say organizations, but you know, like the profession, like Muusikojen Liitto.
Oh yeah, what is it in English? It's the
unions.
The unions,
kind of
organizations that like help. They stood for the rights of
and they like give you advice and whatnot, and they have, for example, some lists of what would be a minimum wage or a minimum like salary that you can ask for this big a band, for this sort of thing, for this sort of event. They have like examples of that, at least that one.
For us too. Yeah, we have. It's all in the internet. Like anybody can go and Google it. You find it. And everybody should know nowadays the rights of how much money you should get paid for this, and then plus the hour, and then traveling if you travel from one place to another.
Food money if you have
everything.
like
In Finland here, what is really nice is that. There's this kind of really legal and structured way how they take care of employees of any kind, even artists. You know, there are people out there who are really doing the work for us. You know, they're delegating every year. It's like I don't know how you call them, but they get selected every year, or. I don't think that it's every year, but some people get selected who can be like edustamassa. What is
like representing
the whole artists base, people from the circus, musicians, and dancers, artists, you name it. So here it's like we're pretty, let's say, safe. We can show it to the people like it's here. But then it comes to the point where, you know, whoever wants to hire us or is in that upper, placement, he or she then decides, I don't want to pay for that. And that's when the really important part comes. Either you stand up for your rights and you're like, okay, sorry, bye.
Yeah.
What we should do, and it's hard. It's of course, because, or then you just settle and you accept the smallest amount of money that they will give you, or then you do it for free. So that's also a small issue that we also have in Finland, and I believe that everywhere, that people are settling for the less, and that is not helping for the change.
That is a very good point. so first of all, like I have been, for example, invited to be with a band and do some concerts during the summer, for example, and I had to tell those musicians, I know that they're absolutely lovely and they're actually kind of like professionals themselves, but they just do this as a hobby, so we don't really have, you know, the same needs per se, because like they do something else for a living and they get a kick out of playing. And I had to tell them that yes, do contact me. However, in my mind, I know I have to filter when I'm actually going to sing with them, because as a professional, I cannot accept going to sing for an organization, for an event, and not taking compensation for that, or my compensation being one meal or a few drinks. Like, that's unacceptable to me. So it's in my responsibility to actually filter that out and make sure that, okay, like here, this is good, I can go over there, they're going to actually pay, I'm going to get like at least 100 euros clean, let's say like the absolute minimum for a very, very short concert actually, or very short contribution. And yeah, like there's no way. And I think that there are two kinds of people who are messing with our job and are encouraging those people who don't want to pay. There are either those who exactly don't care about doing, like having concerts, which are very well prepared and performed for drinks or a meal. And also those, well, no, actually, yeah, those those people. Like, as long as there are those people who are okay with that, then there's either no need for a professional, or then you're always going to hear, but person X can do it for free, or person Y can do it for much less. And like, yeah, well, that's their problem, honestly, but it is taking work away from you in a sense. The same is also with like teaching, because I know of course I'm not going to name anyone or exactly what they're teaching, but they're teaching an instrument, and while my student friends, my classmates, would take about 25 to 30 euros an hour for teaching their classical instrument, this person decided that I'm going to teach for 10 euros, and I can also teach this instrument and also sing, which she doesn't have any knowledge about or any skill about.
Is that person studying?
Not anymore, I graduated.
Oh, okay. Oh, but that person teaches things where she's not in her
not
area.
Even, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And only for like 10 euros, which, okay, like if you actually research a little bit, this should seem suspicious, right? But there might be people who are like whose kid really needs a hobby or has been wanting to try something out, or they cannot afford someone for 30-40 euros an hour, and they're like, okay, I guess I'm going to try this person, and then that might actually be harmful for the kid's future, even as a XYZ like music player, right? Like if you actually don't know how to do something, like, don't go saying that you can teach it.
No, it's true. And here's the thing, I believe that we will not in our lifetime will be able to ever stop this ongoing thing of professionalism and really paying for the quality and having that best service, because that's what we do. We also, that we're giving a service, either that, and here comes the customer chooses at the end. And I came into that realization many years ago, because I was so pissed about it before, and I was like, I've been rejected, and sometimes I'm still rejected because my price is higher than another person. And nowadays I'm like, oh, okay, you're lost, like, it's okay, I really don't mind. But before it was like, oh man, at the end, it's all on the customer. They can't complain, and if the best quality they will ever know is based on someone who doesn't have the studies as what you have, then well, that's that person's problem. Then when the person and the customer feels called to learn better, or feels that man, this is not everything, then yeah, they're gonna holla at you. They're gonna come back if that's what their soul desires at the end, and realizes that they need better teachings. Then yeah. But if not, and if they're satisfied with what they know, or satisfied with the show that they got, then well, it's up to them.
Yeah.
What you get is what you pay for.
That's true. Sometimes that's true.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
There are always exceptions, but usually that's the rule.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we have to keep our prices. Period.
Yeah, and I mean, I once went to a seminar of sorts where exactly like from Ukko, which is kind of a service helping entrepreneurs out with sending bills and with accounting stuff in general, and they also highlighted the fact that especially as a creative professional, you are the one who needs to have a fixed price which you don't go below, and that is your value. Like, what is your value as a professional? You can't just change that all the time. You can't just
keep it. That's one of the hardest thing. And we can go forward into the next subject that has to do with this is and I believe not only artists have this issue, most people have the issue of what is your value. Let's say you've been studying, you're fucking good, you know all of this, and you're good, but then you have to start going into that more psychological aspect of your worth,
Yes.
and that is really embodying the fact that and believing it, that I deserve it. I am, I can get 300. I should get 300, period. And you really believe that. Not feeling very humble and like, that's where the, how do you call it? The imposter syndrome always comes. Of you knowing that you deserve better, but at the same time not sure and not believing it so much.
Yeah, and that's because we're comparing ourselves so much to others, especially, right? So if you're seeing someone else's art or someone else's dance, someone else's music constantly, and then you're automatically, it's like human nature that you're comparing yourself to them. And imposter syndrome is something so common to creative professionals. So of course you will feel like, oh man, but am I, do I really deserve this? Nah, this was pure luck that I got this job. It was pure luck that they wanted to hire me and not someone else for myself. Maybe they just didn't know someone better. Maybe I just popped up. And then that leads to a spiral where you are never going to believe in yourself, and then eventually it's just going to wither away.
Or too good to be true.
It's too good to be true. Yeah, that's the other thing. But that is, I think the easiest way to actually put a price on your skill is basically, if you are having trouble, in my opinion, okay, now I'm just thinking about this, if you're having trouble with your confidence and with accepting that my base price should be X, maybe just, as I said, you need a fixed price, right? You don't need a personalized price for everyone, because everyone is going to try to always haggle as much as they can. And you'll always be at a loss in that sense. So you need a fixed price. If you don't feel like putting the world, my value, my worth in it, okay, then in a work day that you're going to commission something, that you're going to make a choreography for someone, that you're going to, I don't know, XYZ, make a concert for someone, how many hours go into this? How much food do you have in this, how much do the trips cost? How much did your materials cost? Like, take it completely coldly and start from there. Just start making calculations. My camera has cost me that much. My microphone has cost me that much. The hours, the renting studio has cost me that much. And so on and so on. My pens have cost me that much. And just like go from there. Start from there and think, how many hours am I going to work on this project, or how many hours do I work in a month, and what is a reasonable thing so that I can at least survive during the day. Like, yeah.
Facts. Really.
So that's the easiest way to start from there. And then with experience, you will gain more confidence, hopefully at least, and then it's like going to be easier to also raise your price according to that, right?
Yes, and not being afraid of denial. That's gonna happen always. It's not to sugarcoat it. You're gonna get a rejection. They will come, and when they come, it's meant for you to come, because that's what's gonna make you more confident, like you said, and accept it. The more rejection you get, the more you have to process. You have to go through that process of how, okay, it feels like shit, oh, I'm gonna cry a little bit, and then you move on. You realize, like, after 2 weeks, okay, you keep on going.
Yeah.
And until you come into that place where you don't care about that denial and rejection anymore, and you keep up your price. You're not lowering anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you build up that confidence, among other things. Yeah.
I have right now, like, I'm going through this situation where I'm being like rejected technically all the time, because, well, technically the profession that I'm in, like as a singer, musician, a singing teacher, it's very much saturated, we could say. I don't know if it actually is, but it feels like there's no need for, at least in cultural centers and whatnot, conservatories, for actual singing teachers. And the fact that I don't really have much experience yet, apart from the minimum, it doesn't really help. So I cannot have master classes, for example, because I don't have the experience. But I could very much start by being at a cultural center like Kansallisopista or something like that, to teach. However, I'm being rejected all the time. I'm trying to promote our music duo for concerts, and that's also being rejected. There's no need for concerts, or even if it was like 2 or 3 months before summer, there's still like everything is booked. I'm trying to get into a cultural center where I'm not going to be teaching Greek anymore, which for some reason has started to like bloom in my life, but like change into music, and everyone's like, yeah, no need. But I've gotten like dozens of rejections so far. That's not going to stop me still. I'm always going to try and find, if I cannot do this, I will try again. I will try again in a few months when I know that they're asking for teachers. Or now what I try to do is actually, when they send me an email and they say that we're not interested, I try to respond right away that like, thank you, and if you ever need anything, like, contact me. Kind of like answer to that and not leave it as an empty email that just came, but like show that I'm actually interested. And then at the same time I'm thinking, okay, if I cannot just purely teach like that, what else can I offer? Do you ever think like that? Like, yeah, what else can you offer? I can offer seminars, I can offer this, I can offer that. I'm interested in knowing more about this subject and researching it. I would like to contact organizations, contact cultural centers, and be like, hey, do you need this instead, which is like new and fresh and creative, something that's in my field, but it's not exactly in a mold which is already saturated. So you also kind of, like, if you're doing the same thing and you're grinding, yes, it's going to get to you, right? It's going to make you depressed. But then you just have to think, okay, like, is there something else that I can do with the knowledge that I have.
Oh, that is so well said, and I'm really happy that you realized that even though it's that you realize the fact that even though your whole passion and what you're meant to do is being a performer, singer, and sing teacher, it's not narrow.
Yeah.
That's your base, but what can you create from that? Okay, let's go there and go that. And that's what we were talking at the beginning of this, the fact when we were talking about finding, new solutions. And when I was explaining about when you don't have that steady job.
True.
You don't have that full-time job as a as a teacher, then you have to try those and get out of the box and improvise and bring out your creativity even further. And you probably you can even surprise yourself in the sense of, oh, I never would have thought that I could link this with this, and then I could try that and see where that goes. Yeah. And that is something what I kind of myself miss, because I already experienced that 18 hours a week, typical, working hours from Monday to Friday. It's not, for me, like I said, for me, it's not it. Doesn't feel, it is in a sense secure, but it's a lot, and I'm not like happy. But there's then the other side where you try everything, you go and ask organization, go and ask the city hall of the city where you live, and see the different culture places that they have in your city, and ask and be like, hey, do you need this or that? And they say no. I'm like, man, now I need to find another way. Oh, where could they need me? Where do I start? It's crazy how much you have to think out of the box and find.
Yeah.
Right?
And like, if you actually meet someone and you ask, hey, would you be interested in X? And they actually respond and they say no, then you can always also ask, okay, what would you be interested in? Kind of like get feedback as well. Like, isn't that's a foundation.
That is so good. Like, okay, is there something like you said, is something that what is it? What is in right now? What do you guys need? Yeah, that's pretty good. And they will always come. For example, I had one rejection a month ago. I've been having some rejections lately too. I mean, with my job, not much, but with with job also, yeah. I was not selected, for example, to be a full-time job teacher here in Jyväskylä. They took another person. And it felt kind of harsh, but then I realized that it was not my sole purpose. I kind of feel relieved. I was kind of happy, but I was just sad because I was not selected. My ego didn't like the fact that I was not selected. But deep inside I was happy. Anyways, because the full time was, in a sense, my security. I was like, I get the insurance, I get, my, how do you call this, eläke, what is it?
Kind of like pension money?
The pension money. I work from an organization. It's so easy. I get, I get paid even if I'm on a holiday. It will be any dance teacher can ever dream of, because nobody has that. Anyways, it's not for me now. It was not meant to be. And then I got the other rejection was for a small festival where they had last year twerking as teaching. So I'm like, hey, I went to the festival actually, and I'm going again. Is Olutsatama, where they have those beers. Yeah. And I just sent it them. I had nothing to lose, like literally. So I'm going anyways for a day there. and I told them like, hey, do you need? I saw that last year you had twerking as one of the main things there. Do you need that this year? And then I told them about my background and this and that, and they said no, we're not having it this year, but yeah, we could take your information and give us a prize, because we do other type of let's say they organize different type of like things in for a couple of days, and then I was like, oh cool, well, I got rejected, but maybe I could have, and they will send me an email or something if something pops up where they need a performance of twerking or somebody that goes teach. So in that sense, yeah, it was cool. Maybe they will never send me an email, maybe they will, but I'm like, didn't lose anything.
But like truth be told, you do need to be able at any given moment to expose yourself, send those emails or make them phone calls, and have something on the ready to show always, whether you do have a lot of experience in the subject or not, but have some form of portfolio. And then if they reject you at that moment, then like be graceful about it. Do answer and say that if you want something, I can do this, or something related to those things. And like show that you are present.
Exactly.
Because people don't know you. Like they will never know that you exist unless you take the initiative. And
as many and all of us know, you can be like one of the best, you can be so talented and this and that, but what the customer can think, or the person who will hire you as a performance or as a teacher, whatever, they're gonna put their energy, aka their money, on you.
Sure.
So they want to be sure that they want to know what are you putting in the table.
True.
Many of are like, so how can I win something from you, from your service?
Yes.
They mostly
you need to be compelling.
It's really harsh to put it that way, but it's a fact. Like, how can I know that what's the word? It's like not taking advantage, but it's like it has to be a win-win situation.
Yeah. How can each party profit from this?
Yes. What can I profit from your service? What can I win from your service?
Yeah.
Either and what the profit is, the product, whatever you bring, either it's your performance, either is your teaching skills, either it's your art. The other person has to be satisfied, and how the other person is satisfied, because they got something, some emotion, some knowledge from it, or it was just such a good experience for them. It's the experience that people want, and that's why I'm kind of hopping to the subject, but that's why many people who love art, they understand the experience that art gives them. That's why they're willing to pay.
True.
There are people. I know we're talking like, oh, artists are like not getting money. I mean, it's nice because in Finland, people, if you see, for example, paintings, I follow a lot of painters here, and they put on a price. They do put a lot, 500 euros for something like this, Or, oh yeah, honey, they're expensive. I was kind of shook. Yeah, people can put a big painting they make, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 easily. Yeah, they put money on it. And people buy it. People do pay for things, and it's because maybe, and that's when an artist needs to find their people who is willing to pay and trust the process, that there are people out there that they get an experience from that painting. They get a satisfactory experience, a good experience from listening to a concert, from listening someone sing, and like, that's what they're paying for. Same as a dance class. Somebody wants to sweat and have fun and just be a student. They're paying for that experience.
True. So I was actually going to say that there is like it's very, very important, right, to know why you're doing something, right? So what is like the meaning of your work? So that's basically also like what you're selling. You're selling the experience of something, the emotion of something. Like you need to know, when I want to hold a concert for an event, first of all, yes, what skills am I bringing, but also why? Why am I doing this? And that will make also your advertisement more compelling, right? It's like exactly taking that thought and putting it into words that's going to help them make a decision, basically. Now, I was actually going to hop onto this subject. Like, we talked about imposter syndrome, and we're talking so much about not just artists, but everyone, talking about their strengths when they're making job applications, auditions, and whatnot. How can someone list, let's say, 5 strengths? Like, what is the process in that? What do you do when you need to show off what you're good at?
First thing that came into my mind, okay, 2 things. Either this is for people that is so that's one of the most hated questions ever, and to be honest, even though I'm very optimistic and I praise myself a lot, I really do, I don't like that question myself neither. Just like, oh man, I need to like, do you really have to go through this question when they ask? Because yeah. I've been in many job applications that were not based on dancing, actually, and I've been asked for, most of the times I've been asked for the interview, so I've been there, and I want to tell. Good that you said that, and after I answer this, I will tell a little story. So one is that you would ask the people around you, closest people, that they would say 1 or 2 things on how would they say a personality trait of yourself. It has to be a positive one, of course. How do they see you? How do they perceive you? Yeah. I think that's easier. And then you would probably be very surprised. You'd be like, oh, thanks, I didn't know that you would see that on me. And the other one would be that you think about you have to think yourself how you are towards other. I think there's always this connection when you have to put your strengths, other people, the people around you, or the social skills somehow come there somehow. Of course, then you can think about how you do things, how you are towards people, why you do things. That's another one. Now I will give an example. How do I do things? Well, I like to do them, let's say, very fast. There's a good side with it and there's a bad side, but of course I will put the good side of it. Being fast means that, I like to multitask. I do a lot, so I can work under pressure, I have 5 minutes, 5 minutes it is, so I can work under pressure. You can put it in a good thing. How I am towards people, I'm caring, so I have empathy. I really do. So yeah, hardworking, I have empathy. And why I do things, well, if I think about why do I do things, let's say one that will come is because I feel good after it. I like to achieve. I'm an achiever. So then there we have 3. That's just an example. Yeah. But now I'm telling my little story. When I was going to the normal interviews where people go to normal jobs,
yeah,
it was meant to be. I mean, I got rejected to all of them, but the thing is, I'm really confident, and for me it was easy to say my strengths, and I did, was very, in my opinion, like really out there. So then it made me think, if you're looking for a position, let's say in I went to a jewelry store, but it's one of those cheap jewelry stores. Yeah, one of the the cheap jewelry stores. And then I went to this sport store, XXL. Yeah. And the position was, seller, of course, being there in the cashier, being there for customers, and I do services, so I'm a good customer person. But then when you think about it, if you are too much and you are more greater than just being a cashier, they see that. So that's a problem. You cannot be too much or too confident, because that could mean that you're more worth it than a cashier. So you might be a bit of trouble for them if they see that you're confident, you have a big persona, you know what you want, and you're not a worker that could stay there for many years as a cashier, because that's what they want. They want someone who can be quiet, takes orders, doesn't have a mind of their own, and do what is told.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So it's like,
didn't think of that.
Yeah, me neither, until after those interviews. I realized that I was too confident and too showed that I know what's up, and that I'm independent, I can take care of myself, and I know what I want. And if I felt that if I showed that too much, which I did, that's not what I want. And it's funny because one day I passed through the store, one of the stores where I got rejected, and I saw the girl that was selected, and maybe there could be other reasons. Of course, the girl was like, she seemed really quiet and like very shy, and you can educate anyone to become a cashier. They can be shy, it's okay, as long as they smile and they know how to treat people. But when you're a boss and you're in a higher standard position, you don't want to have someone with a strong personality, and you don't want to have someone that is very confident of themselves, because then you cannot put them down in a sense.
That's very true. Yeah, so my thought of that was, your point was really, really good. So like, take a couple of friends or relatives that you really do trust, that you actually trust their opinion, if otherwise it makes you uncomfortable, and ask them like a couple of characteristics, traits, as you said, about yourself, and write them down. Write your values. I think that especially in our society, like, not everyone wants a job that will fulfill them, and that is perfectly fine. Some people just want to do a job and go home and do the stuff that they like there, and they don't really care about the job. But a lot of artists, in the creative professions especially, I would say that like it really does need to fulfill you, right? Otherwise, if you have a block, then how are you going to overcome it? You usually take from inspiration from personal experiences or something like that, from your own like mental health situation, from whatever you're overcoming, and so it's very, very personal. And of course, I think, and I have said openly, that like my work or my values are very tightly tied to my work, even as a streamer, for example. So take like, what are my values as a person? What do I value in other people, and what do I value in myself? How do I like to be presented in other people? What is important? Do I like to be presented as a responsible person, as a fun person? And what do I appreciate in other people as well? What do I appreciate in a work environment? Do I appreciate when someone is punctual? Right, punctual. Am I good at planning? Do I like that? Write it down. Anything that is positive like that, you can turn it into something else. And you turned all of the things like that you said, like, I feel gratification in like what I'm doing, so I'm an achiever. You made it into
something positive, or the fact that I want things to be done fast. And for some people, it's like, no, it has to be slow. And if I'm gonna go fast, that means I can work under pressure.
So like, you turn it into something compelling that you can actually put in a CV or say in an interview. And that's how you start knowing about yourself. You start learning about yourself through experiences, through meeting other people, through taking classes, I think that's the best. That's like the best option that you have. And then like think through your experiences. What do I value? How do I like to be presented to other people? What's important to me? And through that, you're going to find your strengths. But everyone has them. Like there is absolutely no person who is like trash.
And the funny thing is that usually the people around you are the one that see your strengths faster than you see them. It's so fun. This is why actually we said it out loud, the fact that ask the people around you, because actually they're the one that see those parts of you that you don't usually see. Because like what Anna said, we tend to firstly criticize. That's the first thing. Yeah, it's more easy for us to say things that we're bad at instead of things that we're good at. Not all of us. I know that many people have gone already through that and they already accept themselves and they like to say good things about themselves, and that's amazing, and that's how we all should actually be. We should learn from that. We should learn also from people that are so confident, and sometimes it may trigger us, but it just triggers us because we don't accept that from ourselves. Yeah. Because we're we gotta stay humble and blah blah blah. Yeah, we need to learn from that person who's fucking cocky, you know. Yeah. Takes that. It triggers us. Hell yeah, but it's like, man, I should get some of that too, some of that shine, you know, some of that light. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful because the people around us are the ones that know and they see all those good sides of us, and it is good that once in a while we just sit there and listen when they say that. We do need that, you know, little
pep talk,
yeah,
little cheer. Yeah, definitely. When you are in a position that it is like visible, you are comparing yourself to others, whether it's an audition or a job application, something like that. What is usually the thing that stays with you?
Like afterwards, or
like let's say during that stressful situation. Okay. So is it like more about is it about their physique? Is it about their skill in something that you are not that skilled about? Is it something in their personality? What do you...
Oh, that's a good one. For everyone it's different, of course, but for me, what stays with me in especially, for example, now lately when I went to the uni arts to, you know, get the position as a master degree, when it comes to my personality, I might sound really self-centered whatsoever, but I'm cool. I know I'm cooler. I'm really confident when it comes to me. But I think that what stayed with me and where I got, of course I'm fucking nervous, was maybe the background and the knowledge. It's somehow the certain background, because personality, you can have an amazing and cool personality, you can be somehow special, but that's not all it. And the background, we all individually have a different background. Nobody has the same background. So that is something that you cannot be better at with anyone. And that's not something you earn skills. It doesn't have to do with skills or with technique or with your way of work. Your background is your background, and in different places somehow they just want that certain background, and that somehow that background that you have individually will affect the decision. That's just something you cannot put anything in it. And the other one, I said the background, and the other one, it was something like skills, but it has to do with like how that person, I'm actually gonna link it with the background. Because depending on the background that you have, those are the tools that you have on how you're gonna problem solve everything that is giving into that situation where we are under pressure. Let's say in audition, that's when the true faces of artists come. You know, let's say that I'm I'm very crazy and I say yes to everything. So because I say yes to everything, that part of me comes into a certain exercise that we're giving. And that's amazing. But then another person with who I'm in the same group, because of their background and their experience, that's what I said, experience, they might just, look into a wall or emptiness, and then they're like, I got it. Some people might just get into this tantrum or flow. I'm just giving an example where they just have this vision and boom, and maybe that's something that I don't have. My skill, for me, my strength is the fact that I say yes to everything and I'm crazy and I just go. But then for another person, it's that they just zap into this certain thing, and they're just different examples. Another person can be the fact that he or she can, have this way of making a really structured and clean way on how to make an exercise work. Let's say we have to make a composition, a dance performance of 3 minutes, and then this person is like, okay, this is the start, this is the middle, and this is the last part, and they got it all figured out. And for us it's always so different. So that is something that fascinates me, but at the same time I see it as of course a threat, because I'm like, wow, that person has that person has that. Which means that I don't care about the body, I don't care about anything physical. The technique, not so much, and we're talking about dancing technique, because technique is something that all of us have. We all have the same, mostly the same abilities, and we have the same chance to evolve, to all become as good. Unless someone has a problem with their knee or whatsoever, but if we're all healthy, then we can all achieve the same, amazingness as teachers.
Yeah.
What it is for you?
Well, I haven't really been in massive auditions, at least not in the last 10 years or more. I don't think that I have actually mentioned this, but I went to an audition when I was 18 for a singing show, like The Voice or something like that.
Oh!
Yeah, but I didn't make it solely because I was late for the filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I passed a couple of auditions, and then I was late for the filming day, and then they were pretty rude, and then the next year they called me again to go.
Oh.
But my mom had answered the phone, and my mom was like, no, you're not going. And yeah, that ended there.
Oh my god.
That ended there. But that was maybe the massive audition that I have been through, because there were several cameras on you, and you had to stand on the eggs and whatnot.
Oh my god.
But after other than that, I still had no experience in the sense that I didn't study to be a professional singer per se. I was doing it as a hobby back then, pop jazz. And now if I think that I would actually pay attention to the physique of the other person, because depending on where I'm actually auditioning, if it's a theater production, then they will probably also ask for dancing. So one thing that I wanted to audition for a new musical in the local theater, and that did come up, kind of you also need to make at least a 30-second choreography and show us what you got. And it's yeah, I have gone to dance classes before, and also last year I went to several of them. However, I don't have the mind or the experience to be able to make a choreography by myself, and I was otherwise as well in a pretty bad place mentally, so I just didn't do it. So that is something that I would pay attention to, if I compare myself to others the most. And then probably skills that I think that being seen as confident, because I am starting to gain more confidence through this journey. the last years of like studying and actually finding what's fit for me professionally. And I am starting to gain that confidence, but it doesn't necessarily show unless I actually sing. Like when I go to a panel or something, I'm too nice. So I would probably be admiring or be jealous of someone who actually looks like they go in somewhere and they own the room. But skills, as in like voice, not so much, because it's also kind of a taste thing. Like I like to listen to specific voices and I don't like to listen to other voices. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Exactly, like it's a taste thing, and it's also something that you can like practice and get better at. So that doesn't matter so much. But like, yeah, physique and like the overall showing of like confidence, I think, like being decisive, because I know that I can be decisive. I am very decisive in my life, but it doesn't show on the outside necessarily. I remember that from the musical auditions that we did like last year for the West Side Story. So there were like maybe about 10 singers or something. I don't remember exactly how many. There were way more girls than like guys who auditioned. And when because Vera, the director, she's an extremely confident person, and we became really good friends after that, or like through that production. Then she told me that like the way that you sing doesn't match the way that you speak, because when I went in, it kind of like showed as in like, okay, like thanks for the opportunity, like I'm just gonna try over here the insignificant little me. And then when I sang, I actually put the whole like emotion in there and everything, and it was a whole different
I understand.
whole different result. So I need to put that, which is in my art, to actually show it as a personality
As
trait.
who you who you are.
Yeah, make it who I am.
Wow. What was the audition that you went on? You went to Jyväskylä?
Basically, you could do those via video because of Corona.
Oh yeah.
So they wanted a recording or like a video where you sing one of the songs that they had given you. They gave us like with scores and stuff. Then it was one song of your choice, and it was like, yeah, easy peasy. And then they also wanted the choreography. But to be fair, the fact that they asked for a choreography, I respect that. I would apply again, because I know that not all theaters do that. If I wanted to be as an ensemble singer in some other theater, like they wouldn't necessarily ask for any dancing experience, and then I would actually be in a pretty bad situation when they say, okay, now dance.
What kind of choreography did they ask? Do you remember? Was it like
It was absolutely anything that you can like show off.
Oh.
Yeah, just make up your own thing.
Wow. Next time, I'm here to help you.
I did think of you, but I didn't have time. Next time.
Yeah, next time. I'm really here. We can actually, totally, because they want to see if you're probably capable of, you know, remembering steps later on if they have something. Yeah, they just want to see that. To know freaking, this is my opinion, I can be wrong, but I believe that many theater people, their dancing skills are not the best unless they studied dancing and singing, you know. But many of them, they learn and they get what they're being choreographed in the scene that has to be done there. At least what I've seen. They learn, they know how to do it, but if they have to, you know, themselves suddenly, you know, woo, dance, no.
Yeah. But this is kind of like the thing that I'm liking, a package.
Yeah.
That part of the package.
One thing also popped into my mind. This was when we were having one of our On the second day, when I went to the Uni Arts audition, we were paired in. We were made in groups of 5, 6, and it was 50-50. You know, dance teachers and theater people. Yeah, this was the conversations with them. Yeah, and well, the whole subject was skills in dancing and theater. So one of the conversation was amazing. So one of the she was a girl named Sini, and she's from the theater, and she mentioned this really interesting and I believe that we all know this type of people. She mentioned that, well, what about the people that, let's say, are just born with it? You know, they just represent that shit. And now we're talking about, you can think about how it is with singing and music, but she was talking about, you know, theater and acting. So we asked, oh, can you open that for us a bit more? What do you mean with that? And then she said that, well, for example, she knows this one guy who, you know, no studies, no nothing, but and it's a wrecked, you know, as a person, like, let's say, haven't developed skills, because skills is something you develop, but that person just goes to the auditions and boom, he gets into this role and he just owns it. He embodies whatever it is.
Yeah.
He just is it. And that was a really interesting intake. Outtake into that subject, which put us to think, like, yeah, actually, I believe we all know someone like that. We all know those people that somehow they haven't used their time into developing their skills, but they just own a part of that. It's like their personalities, like part of them. And then that's when I came into the inside of kind of realizing, or I just threw this out there, you know, to them. What about if these people, and now we go back to when I was talking about the background, why the background is so important of a person. Let's say that part of this person's background that just is born with it or just have it, lived and experienced circumstances that put that person in a certain position where he or she had to, out of the blue, develop those skills without even realizing that those are skills. Or if we're talking about acting, a person had to lie a lot, a person had to hide their feelings, a person had to, you know, use those tools without even realizing that they're tools. And there are so many people out there can think, what else can they come into mind, but what are your opinion and your thoughts on those people that kind of have it already with it?
That's a good question. I think that you're onto something in general. Like, who we are is molded, like, from the time that we're at home with our parents and whatnot, right? So yeah, background does play a huge role. So I would say that, for example, me as a 2-year-old, the radio was like playing all the time. So as a little Anna Bebe, I would like ride my little tricycle and I would sing, because that's what I did. I didn't really watch TV, I think, as a little toddler, but radio would be playing all day. So it's something that like I learned to do. And if my dad is like singing a lot at home, I'm picking that up. If, like, you know, picking from the environment. And yeah, I guess that like makes sense. In general, as a teacher, I don't like to think that there are people who are just talented or born with it, because that might take away courage from someone else who wants to try something. So unless you have a condition where you are, what is it called, like tonally deaf in a way, where you legit like cannot hear the pitches and whatnot, which is a very, very small part of the population, or like, if there's actually something limiting you health-wise, then other than that, you can cultivate skills. You might not be perfect, and that is okay. I think that, I'm not sure if I had mentioned it, but like, even if I'm good at singing, it doesn't mean that I'm the best, and it doesn't mean that everyone who does classical singing needs to be the best. You don't need to be necessarily the best dancer, singer in the world to be good. But yeah, like I don't like to think about these like talented people and, oh my God, you're so natural with it, you have so much talent in it, just because it might be actually discouraging for others who want to learn. But yeah, definitely it is a thing, and I think that it is very much tied to the background.
And what would you say, how would it be for the people themselves who, like you said, not saying it out loud so it can discourage the people who are, let's say, not talented and they have to develop the skill, but what about the people who are this people? Who are we talking about? Is it to tell them that, how it is that sense? I
mean, in a couple of students that I've had, like, I have told them that they have a gift, right? Lahjakast, like, yes, you have a gift. You have, like, naturally, you're very good at singing, even if you don't know exactly what's going on, even if you are, like, a beginner. But I always balance it with, but you have a lot to learn. Like, if you're actually naturally, you can have the quote-unquote talent, but if you don't do something with it, it will always be like a rough diamond. You cannot polish it. It needs polishing if you want to go further with it. And that is kind of why I don't enjoy people. I don't agree with people who are like, oh, my child is so talented, and then it's just like disregarding the practice stuff, because our ego from such comments can grow so big, and then like you're disregarding like people who can actually help you go forward. So yeah, always balance it with, but there's always more to learn.
Exactly. I have a friend, I know someone that has been treated for, and she's a dancer, who has been, and graduated with me, who has been treated as, oh, you're so good, this and that. And oh, if you're late or whatsoever, it's like, okay, because you're so talented. Let's just say that her naturalness talent is praised, and anything that has to do with hard work, being on time, practicing, trying harder, is not within her. She does not do those, and I don't think it's a problem, but it happens with some people. What you were probably explaining, when you believe so much, and you're being also from the outside being told how good and talented you already are, and you're just born with it, then you stop trying actually, and you think that you're already there. And it's so funny because that's what actually happened to her. She lost it. She's not at there, and that's why, because she haven't worked hard on it. She has big dreams. She wanted to go this and there, and Broadway. Well, is she in Broadway? No, she's not, because she haven't even applied or tried to train herself to go there. It's funny because she still talks about it, and that's her dream and this and that. But we're still waiting. When is she gonna start to apply to places? Yeah. So, like you said, it's that balance when it comes to those kids and youngsters that are somehow already talented.
It's just really important to like recognize your strength and recognize that you are naturally better at this thing than that, but also like cultivate it, because it not just cultivate it, but also learn to be professional in it. You can always bring a personal twist to a project that you're on, but you cannot expect everyone to agree with you or to be okay with it. Like one thing that you do doesn't fit every situation. I have been in productions with one person who thinks very highly of themselves, and surprisingly they were very nice at me, which I appreciate. Nothing bad personally about that individual, but like professionally they were lacking. The same thing, like running late if coming at all, being unprepared, oh, I forgot the notes, or I forgot how to sing this, I'll learn it again just a little bit. But everyone else suffers from that because they think that they're a star and they can bring their plot twist and they can change how the orchestra plays, or they can ask for something different. Just because they have a vision and they think that they're the center of that vision. Sure, that person probably knows that they're very good at, that they're better than average at acting, they're better than average at singing because they have good qualities, they're better than average than teaching because they have good qualities. However, that doesn't make them automatically fit in the professional, like in a working society per se, because like there's only a few places where you can act like that and be successful. If you want to actually work in a theater, in a conservatory, somewhere where you actually have colleagues and you're not by yourself to make up your own rules, then you're going to like basically hit your head on the wall eventually.
That's true. And it's so funny, you guys out there, especially if you don't know so much about theater, dance, or singing, and you only see this on movies. Yeah, it's true what they show in movies. There are cocky people out there. It's so funny because it's true. It's really true. We have worked and seen people that are over here, and it's very cliche, but they are out there. It's so crazy when
Vera told me that in every theater production there is an asshole. And that is true, right? In every working environment there is at least an asshole who's going to make everything about themselves. So there is, in Vera's perspective, there's always an asshole in a theater production who is going to bring their plot twist despite what the director wants from the whole production. And she says it's best to watch the premiere of a show and go watch the show again after 6 months. And see the performance of that person, because little by little that specific person is going to change their character despite all of the like directions that they have been given.
2019 our class worked for half a year almost in the theater. We got our student points for that, opintopisteet, 5 points. And we got to work with theater people, you know, with the whole thing, whole days and evenings, and very interesting. I loved it, but I just didn't feel that I need all of that. I love how weird and because I love that. I love weirdness and drama somehow, but it was like I don't feel the call. I could do it again as a project, but but there was this one actress who. When the premiere started and then the other shows for 3 months, literally every time in presentation she did it differently. Every time she did with different tone, different timing. Nobody said anything because everybody knows, but I'm like,
she's trying her own thing. She's like, I didn't know that because I haven't been in a theater production with professionals, but apparently that's the situation.
It's they're in their own bubble. It's just it's okay.
That's true.
Let's no hate on them. They it's their life. Have you had, I don't know if you already had, but what would you say to, because now we've been talking about students that can be motivated, that they're not the best but they could develop skills. Then we have been talking about people who are born with it but we have to bring that balance to them and that motivation that they have to still work hard. What would you say of people, students that, I don't know if this has to do with their self-confidence, with their belief system, with the whatever is going in their life right now, you know, anxiety, depression, because we all have those states, with people that give up literally immediately, even though you try all of those things, you know, motivate them, bring them a safe space. And the reason why I'm asking this is because I've had students who have like opened up, and they're both girls, youngsters, and well, they're the type of people that tried different hobbies, let's say, and they quit. You know, they didn't feel accepted. There was just something wrong with the whole thing. But the latest student that I had, I don't know if she's ever gonna come back. You know, I literally try my best, and it's just, yeah, she said that now she's trying hip hop. She's trying street dance because before she tried some different hobbies. I asked her, what have you tried? And then she told me, she said, yeah, but it didn't last long because, I don't know, X, Y, Z. And I've been observing her on my classes, and I will tell you soon, like later, what I realized. But it's just that, yeah, there is that third type of students and people that try different hobbies, but they just immediately give up. And I'm talking about a lot of hobbies, because you can start something, you know, I could start karate. I'm like, you know.
Yeah,
that's an example. But then there's these people that try different stuff, and different hobbies, 5, 6, and then they come to your class or as your student, and they tell, yeah, I've tried this, and no, that didn't work. So what can we as teachers do? Is there anything for us to do, or is it more on that student, like, damn honey, like do you see where the problem come from? Like,
yeah. So especially a young person might not understand it quite now, and maybe they're looking for the thing. But if you don't put your heart into something for even the 1 year that you do it, then you're probably not gonna get back to it. You're always gonna find a reason. It's too hard. I didn't like the teacher. I didn't like someone in the group. So like kind of like try to maybe feed the or put a seed of thought, like, why are you doing this? Why are you here? What is it? And kind of like, yeah, maybe try from there. Why do you take dancing?
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, because that came into my mind, because there's so many type of different students. And then I remember, yeah, there's this type of student also that tries everything, but never sees that that's a good one to ask. Why are you doing this, you know? And they literally tried so different hobbies, but always like blaming something on that hobby. And I kind of knew that, I have a feeling that I'm gonna be next, but oh well. Yeah, knowing that she's gonna do the same thing for this hobby, dancing.
Yeah.
There's always something. So for people out there, don't give up so easily. You know, it's not, I mean, I believe that it can also be the fact that you want to learn something immediately and you have to be there already.
Yeah, that's what I was going to come to as well. Like, you don't need to be the best at what hobby you take up. Like, if I start drawing, I don't need to be the best painter. It's fine if you do it as a hobby, and if you don't do it, like, actually you don't have a purpose with that. But also, it takes time to be good at something. Exactly what you said. Like, you cannot learn something immediately. You cannot expect to pick up a pen and suddenly like know how to do shading.
Yeah.
and correct anatomy. Like, you as a student of whatever you're taking, you need to have the realization that you're there to learn and not expect to be good at something immediately.
Frustration and stress probably a little bit is part of the process. I think that's what some people don't want to feel, or maybe think that if it's a negative feeling that's happening when you're learning, let's put that drawing, it's like, nope, it's not meant to be, because this journey of me becoming a okay drawer has to be a nice and steady and harmonious and peace loving type of journey. There cannot be any
Yeah. So if you're actually having like especially private lessons with that person, I think that kind of person needs a little bit of tough love. Starting with, depending on how well you know them, how long you have worked with them, starting with, please ask yourself, why are you here? To, if you actually don't know, or if you actually don't care and you're just going to hop from one thing to the next, that's not going to benefit you in your life.
Yeah.
Somehow put that like into their mind.
Yeah, that's good. What were the other questions?
Yes, question. So, what, like, this is a very hard one, of course,
Okay.
but one advice you would give to someone who aspires to be a dancer?
Oh no, this is an easy one. I love doing this. Oh well, depending on the level, of course. If we think about you becoming a really good dancer, like you really having those skills at any type of age, let's just say, it doesn't matter. First of all, I would say to the person to not compare. I mean, that's very cliche. I don't know if I would say that. I mean, I would say that, but I just feel that everything that person sees on social media, on the internet, and wants to become it, because that's why you aspire to become a dancer. You're like, oh wow, because you get inspired. To bring that topic and explain to that person that, okay, that's what you're seeing right there is possible. It literally is. It's all about understanding the body. It's all about practicing your maximum and practicing your less maximum. You have to go back and forth to all of the edges. How does it feel to do very tiny? How does it feel to not activate your muscles? How does it feel to activate your muscles? You have to go to all of that physical and also kind of mental process as a person. Really, it's a really physical, mental process. And then comes the psychological, which you have to be very, very optimistic. I will get there. Even if you do shit, okay? Even if it hurts, even if it's not the best. The fact is, the more repetition you do, the closer you are to perfection. Always. And this goes towards everything. So with dancing, you make a step, do a step 1,000 times. Boom, nice. You do that step 5,000 times. Wow, it looks different. And that's another thing. Every time you do something, it looks always different.
Yeah.
It's never gonna, today you're gonna dance something, a small choreography I will make for you. The next week, that same choreography is just, it's not the same. Even me as a dance teacher, when I teach certain choreographies, it's a centimeter slide to the left, centimeter slide to the right. It's never the same. It can be practiced as perfection. So yeah, no matter the goal that you have, if you want to be a good dancer, like, okay, you understand rhythm, or if you want to like really overcome and surpass yourself as something amazing, both are possible. Yeah, totally. So my advice is that to believe in yourself. It sounds very cliche, but believe that. Accept all the feelings that come within, and Enjoy and don't give a fuck. I actually say this to my students a lot. Just don't care. Don't care. Don't care if people are watching. Don't care how it's gonna look then. The moment you stop caring how other people view your dancing, and you don't let other people's perspective determine the quality of your dancing, that's when you're taking your power as a dancer. When you are the one who takes control and you're the one that defines what masterpiece you're doing. You're like, I'm going to show you and I'm going to make you think what I want you to think of my dancing. You see what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
And that's one main thing that a lot of people that practice dancing, that does dancing, have. We give our power to the outer space, to other people. We give our power to the teacher. We give our power to our classmates who are there or in the same hobby. We let them determine the illusion of giving them to determine how we dance. That's why we're shy. That's why we don't give our best, because we think that other people have certain opinions of how we're gonna dance.
Yeah.
That's why dancing alone feels better.
Yeah.
And more like secure and free than dancing with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's very important to remember that, like, you yourself, like, no one else at that moment that you're performing knows what you're doing better than you. So
don't give your power.
Yes, exactly.
To others.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, like, you have a message to give. It's the way that they interpret it, it's not up to you, but the message that you want to pass to the audience is up to you. And if you're not firm about that, then what's the point? One more question. Is there something these days, or like, what is something that has made you happy that you would like to recommend to other people these days?
Oh, yes. It all depends. It's very personal, actually, and very individual. Whatever pops into your mind right now, that is something that you like. Okay, think about something that you like. I would think that, okay, I like to eat noodles. I like to watch anime or supernatural. I like to, it has to do with food or something. Like, that makes me happy. And do it. It's so simple. I know. Self-care, I think, has been lately for me the main thing. And like really self-care, because my self-care before was like, okay, I have 10 minutes to just relax and then I have to go back to like, no, that's not real. That's not the thing. We're lying to ourselves when we say that that's self-care. That 10 minutes or 15 or just putting a face mask, that's not self-care. I mean, kind of, it's not. Self-care really means to use many hours on something that you can just be. Another thing would be, don't plan. I know it sounds kind of crazy to not plan stuff, but like, if you have a day off, this is something I actually yesterday learned. If you have a day off or something, we usually plan our day off, what I'm gonna do on my day off. And at the end, you're not maybe being so present. So yesterday, I did plan in the morning, kind of, but funny enough, I didn't do what I planned. Instead, I was just being very slow and I was being lazy and I was just being, which made me actually realize this is the whole meaning of having a day off. This is the whole purpose of just being. So I didn't go to the places where I was supposed to go and use my time on my day off, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, so don't do, just be sometimes, okay? And don't feel ashamed for thinking that you're lazy when you're not doing. Yeah, we're not doers, we're beings.
Aww, that was very beautifully put.
Yeah,
that was so great. Monse, I want to thank you for being here. Once again, very enlightening conversation with you. everyone can go and follow Monse on Instagram. I think you're the most active over there. So at Monse Rina, that's your handle.
Yes.
And they can also soon check your twerkacademy.com, which is under makeover, I believe. So what do you offer over there?
Virtual twerking classes. There will be videos of how to start twerking, how to improve. They're basically and actually mostly just developing tools for your dancing career. Not as a professional dancer, but most of how to prepare yourself for a dance class. You can use those videos, for example, a half an hour before going to a dance class, you know. And that, because there's many, to make it really quick, sometimes people get injured in dance classes, or people don't feel that they're in their body. They feel that they don't have that control, they're not in their body. So it's just mostly to get into your body, and it's very twerk based for now. And I decided to make it fun, you know, not just twerk technique, but mostly, let's say, twerk and sweat. So if you wanna, you know, twerk and for half an hour, and you know, burn some calories and sweat a little bit in a fun way, not just doing those typical high intensity training, then there is how to earn more flexibility, acrobatic tricks, and it's a new project for me, really, and it's gonna be very interesting what's gonna become. But
awesome. Yeah, we're here for it. Well, thank you, and thank you for watching and listening to Culture and Chill. And I will be with you next month, hopefully, with some very, very interesting guests once again. Thank you, Monse.
Thank you, Anna.
Yay, have a wonderful summer.
You too.
Okay, see you all soon. Bye.